So recently, Arrow has released An American Werewolf in London on 4K UHD Blu-ray. Now, they previously had released American Werewolf in London on regular Blu-ray, and it looked great, and the extras were voluminous and amazing, and it was the definitive release of American Werewolf in London on Blu-ray. And when I reviewed that, I said pretty much that if you own this movie in the past, this is the version to have. You don't need the previous versions. This ports over all the extras. It's comprehensive. It looks amazing. You'll never need to buy it again. And then they put it out on 4K UHD, and they put more extras on it. So now this is the version you need to own and have and hold forever. Now, I got a review copy of this. So a lot of times when they put out these 4K UHDs, if you're like, I don't have a 4K TV, I don't have a player that can handle these discs, they usually will include a Blu-ray. Now, I'm not sure if they did that on this because I just get the 4K UHD disc. And I did get, they give me these little sheets, you see. They give me these sheets that are basically the sell sheets, the marketing sheets for the movies that list what's on there. So I'm actually going to read from this. I don't usually do this. Excuse me. I don't usually do that either. But I'm going to read from that because I want to really convey how much stuff is on here. So if somehow you've never seen An American Werewolf in London from 1981, I'll tell you a little bit about it. Sometimes I feel like when I do these 4K releases, I should just say, the last time I reviewed that, well, go see what I think about the movie in that review, and then I'll just talk about how it looks in 4K. But they'd be very short reviews because they would say, it looks great. So American Werewolf in London, 1981. John Landis, fresh off the success of The Blues Brothers the year before and Animal House 2 years before that, decides to make a horror movie. And he makes a horror comedy, and he makes one of, as I say, one of the rare horror comedies that is legitimately disturbing and creepy and legitimately funny. Most tend to go funny with horror elements, but this really does it well. So you start off with two friends, two 20-something friends who are backpacking across the moors in England, and they stop in, again, I'm not going to go point by point on this, they stop in at a pub, the Slaughtered Lamb, and get some bad vibes there. They're told, stay off the moors, whatever you do, just stay on the road, get out of here, stay off the moors, and they decide to take a shortcut in the fog and in the dark. They realize they're on the moors, and they hear a growling noise that, over time, they realize probably is not a dog, certainly not a sheep. They are attacked. One of the men dies, one of them lives, and he is cursed to be the titular American Werewolf in London. I won't give you any more than that, but it is a really good movie. It is it is a horror classic. It is a horror great. It's one of the great werewolf movies. Rob Bottin's, and was it Rob Bottin? Was it Rick Baker, Rob Bottin? Somebody will correct me. Maybe it was both. The special effects are outstanding and revolutionary for the time. Transformation sequences still stand up with anything that's ever been done. And it is gruesome. It is scary. It is very funny. There is a lot of David Naughton ass in this. So, which I got no beef with that. If you got it, flaunt it, as a 60s song once sang. But it's funny, and it's very well done. Naughton is excellent. Fresh from the success in Midnight Madness, American Werewolf in London. And you've got Jenny Agutter in it, and you've got a lot of, some cameos. You've got, I believe Frank Oz does a little cameo in this movie, who was in London, probably still doing the Muppet Show at that time, or working on one of the Muppet movies. And some familiar faces here and there. But mostly not. Griffin Dunne plays the non-werewolf friend in the pair, and he's great. And it's so kind of perfect. And the more I watch this movie, I watch it every so many years. It gets screened a lot theatrically for revivals and retro shows, and it's never been too hard to find since it first hit tape way back when. The more I watch it, and I think, the first time I saw this movie, I had this little TV next to my bedroom when I was a kid that could pick up with an antenna a couple channels. And one of the things it would get was WCAX-TV, Burlington, Vermont, and CBS affiliate, and they would run the CBS late movie. And usually somewhere around 10, 11 o'clock at night, I think it was one night a week, it might have been more than that, they would run a feature film. And one of those nights they ran American Werewolf in London. So I was laying in bed watching it. It was, of course, heavily edited. But what I think about the movie now that I think back, it really came through then. There's an undercurrent of sadness and tragedy and sorrow in this movie. It's easy to forget when you just think about the kills and the werewolf aspect and the comedy and the music soundtrack. That's the very amusing counterpoint of, playing Bad Moon Rising or Blue Moon or things like that throughout the movie. But there is this tone that is an undercurrent that if you look for it, it's very much there. it's just sad. It's this really nice guy, and something really bad happens to him that he can't help and he can't avoid, and his fate is unavoidable. And there are warnings to him about it, and he doesn't heed those warnings. And there's a love story that becomes it's a really sad movie if you can look beyond the laughs and the gore. So the movie itself is outstanding. If you haven't seen An American Werewolf in London, you should. You really should. It's really good. So now I'm going to tell you about this new 4K UHD release. So if you don't know what it is, 4K UHD is the current sharpest video resolution you can get on commercial equipment. There is such a thing as 8K. There may actually be such a thing as 16K. I saw 8K once, not long after 4K came out, and I'm like, how much clearer can you make it? And the answer is clearer. But 4K looks fantastic. So it's one of those things where most people are fine with the Blu-ray. The previous Arrow Blu-ray looked great on the big TV we have here. And we happen to have a setup that allows for 4K UHD, so I review these things too. And anything that I love, I'm probably going to want to upgrade to 4K because it's just like, it's the best it can look. And this looks the best it's ever looked. It doesn't look radically different as far as color timing or anything like that from the previous release, as far as I recall. It's just sharper. You can read all the signs in Piccadilly Circus. You can do some more freeze frame action and really see the details a lot more. And it makes the story, 4K makes it a little bit more immediate. It feels a little bit more like you are there, minus the bogosity of certain settings people turn their TVs on that they shouldn't. So yes, the movie looks great. It looks clearer than it ever has. And I will read to you from this text. Pardon my looking down. Maybe I'll do it up here so it looks a little bit more regal. You get a 60-page book about the film with the commercial release of this. Double-sided poster, 6 double-sided poster-sized lobby card reproductions, reversible sleeve featuring original poster art and new artwork, outtakes, storyboard featurette, original trailer and teaser ads, plus TV, original trailer and teaser theatrical, plus TV and radio spots, image gallery featuring over 200 stills, posters, and other ephemera. Casting the Hand, archival footage from Rick Baker's workshop showing the casting of David Naughton's hand for the movie. I Walked with a Werewolf, archival interview with Rick Baker about Universal Horror and its legacy of Wolfman films. Makeup artist Rick Baker on American Werewolf in London. The legendary makeup artist discusses his work on the film. I'm going to keep going for a while. There's a making of, I'm going to shorten this up. There's a Landis interview, lengthy archival interview with him about the movie. There is American Werewolf in Bob's basement, looking at some of the props from used in the movie as they look now. There is Beware the Moon, Paul Davis acclaimed feature-length exploration. It's a feature-length documentary about the movie on the disc with the movie. The Werewolf's Call, which is a chat with director Simon Ward and Corin Hardy about their influence of this film on them. There is a featurette about the special effect. I'm not going to read it all. I mean, it's like a day. You would take like a day to watch all this stuff. So that might be the selling point alone. Now, some of this is new to this release. So again, it may result in eye rolls from people who bought the last one, but there is a reason to buy this if you had the last one. A, it's going to look a lot better, and B, it's all the extras that were on that or maybe any other release of the film plus new ones, and they're long. So I guess I recommend this. It's like, how much more could you want? How much more could there possibly be to put on this? It is an amazing set. It is out now from Arrow Home Video. This is An American Werewolf in London, 1981, 4K UHD collector's edition. I would recommend it.